Every living thing on Earth needs to exchange gases to survive. It's a basic rule of life. For us, that means breathing in oxygen with our lungs and exhaling carbon dioxide, fueling everything we do. But plants? They don't have lungs or noses, yet they're alive and need to breathe too. Plants have their own unique way of exchanging gases, using microscopic structures invisible to the naked eye. This process is silent and constant, happening on every leaf around us. While we think of breathing as an active, chest-rising motion, plants are busy on a microscopic level, pulling in what they need and releasing what we need. Their method is different, but just as vital, connecting all life on Earth. So how do plants breathe without lungs? The answer lies in millions of tiny gateways on their leaves. Understanding this secret is like getting a backstage pass to nature's greatest show. Let's dive in and discover how plants breathe. The secret to plant breathing? Stomata, tiny mouths covering every leaf. These aren't for eating, but for breathing, letting gases move in and out of the plant. Stomata are so small, you'd need a microscope to see them, but they're everywhere on a leaf's surface. Each stoma is flanked by 2 guard cells, like bouncers at a club, deciding when to open or close the door. These guard cells respond to sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, changing shape to open or close the pore. Stomata aren't just holes, they're sophisticated valves, essential for the plant's survival. By controlling gas flow, they allow plants to turn sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. Every green leaf is a living interface, covered in millions of these tiny breathing mouths. Stomata keep the plant healthy, and, as we'll see, help keep us healthy too. Next time you see a leaf, remember, it's a busy hub of microscopic activity. That's the magic of stomata. So, where do we find stomata? Mostly on the leaves, the plant's main solar panels. The broad, flat leaf surface is perfect for deploying millions of these tiny pores to capture carbon dioxide. On most land plants, stomata are concentrated on the leaf's underside, away from the hot sun and drying winds. This clever placement helps the plant get CO2 while minimizing water loss. Some plants, like those in deserts, have fewer or sunken stomata to conserve water. Water plants, like lilies, have stomata on the top of their floating leaves, since the underside touches water. The number of stomata is staggering. A single square millimeter can have hundreds. A sunflower leaf might have over 10 million stomata on its underside. Plants adapt their stomata's number and position to their environment, always optimizing for survival. Wherever they live, plants place their mouths in the best spot to breathe. Stomata aren't just open holes. They're dynamic gateways, opening and closing as needed. Guard cells around each stoma act like tiny balloons. When full of water, they swell and open the pore. When the plant needs to conserve water, the guard cells lose water, collapse, and close the pore. Sunlight signals the guard cells to open stomata in the morning, letting in CO2 for photosynthesis. At night, most stomata close to save water, since photosynthesis can't happen without light. The plant constantly balances its need for CO2 with its need to conserve water. Every open stoma means more CO2, but also more water loss, a high-stakes trade-off. This elegant system lets plants breathe and survive, even in tough conditions. The opening and closing of stomata is a precise, water-driven dance. It's how plants manage to breathe without drying out. Millions of years of evolution have perfected this balancing act. That's the genius of guard cells and stomata. When stomata open, the leaf becomes a busy gas exchange station. Plants pull in carbon dioxide, essential for photosynthesis, through their stomata. Inside the leaf, CO2 is turned into sugars, the plant's food, using sunlight. At the same time, oxygen, a waste product of photosynthesis, flows out through the same pores. This oxygen is what we and other animals need to survive. Water vapor also escapes whenever stomata are open, in a process called transpiration. Transpiration isn't wasteful. It helps pull water and minerals up from the roots and cools the leaf. So, through each stoma CO2 comes in, oxygen and water vapor go out. This three-way traffic is silent but vital, shaping the air we breathe. The simple act of opening and closing stomata orchestrates this complex exchange. Plants balance food production with water conservation, all through these tiny pores. It's a beautiful, interconnected system. Comparing plant and human breathing reveals fascinating similarities and differences. Both plants and people exchange gases to stay alive, but the details are unique. We breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide using lungs, a centralized mechanical system. Plants use millions of stomata spread across their leaves, a decentralized system. For us, breathing's main goal is to get oxygen for cellular respiration, powering our bodies. Plants also need oxygen for respiration, but during the day, photosynthesis dominates. CO2 in, O2 out. At night, when photosynthesis stops, plants switch to taking in oxygen and releasing CO2. So, human breathing is a one-way street. Plant breathing is a two-way highway, changing with the sun. Stomata manage this complex traffic, adapting to the plant's needs. It's a perfect partnership. We breathe in what plants release, and vice versa. Our lives are intertwined with the silent breath of plants. That's the wonder of nature's design. The most important gift plants give us? Oxygen. Every breath you take is possible because a plant released oxygen into the air. From giant trees to tiny algae, photosynthesis keeps our atmosphere rich in oxygen. Animals breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Plants do the reverse during photosynthesis. It's the ultimate recycling program. Plants and animals supporting each other. This cycle, powered by sunlight, has made Earth a livable planet for millions of years. Next time you walk through a park, remember, you're surrounded by living oxygen factories. Every leaf is a station, scrubbing CO2 from the air and giving you the breath of life. The quiet breathing of plants sustains us all, every moment of every day. That's the invisible present we receive with every breath. Imagine if plants stopped breathing, if all stomata sealed shut. Photosynthesis would stop, and plants couldn't make food, they'd starve. Herbivores would lose their food source, and carnivores would follow. The entire food web would collapse, turning green landscapes brown and barren. But it gets worse. Without photosynthesis, oxygen levels would drop, while CO2 would rise. The air would become unbreathable for animals like us. This scenario shows how deeply we depend on plant breathing. The simple act of a stoma opening is a planetary force, shaping our atmosphere and ecosystems. Plant breathing isn't a minor detail. It's a pillar of life on Earth. Our survival is tied to the health of plants everywhere. We depend on their breath completely. Here's a fun fact. Every time you eat fruit, veggies, or bread, you're eating solidified air and sunlight. Plants use CO2 from the air to build their tissues, so the carbon in your apple was once floating in the atmosphere. Sunlight powers this transformation, locking energy and carbon into the food we eat. When you eat, you're releasing that stored solar energy to power your body. Every meal is a direct link to photosynthesis and plant breathing. The energy in your food is captured sunshine, packaged by plants. So, next time you eat, remember, your meal is the result of millions of stomata at work. Plants give us oxygen, food, and energy, all through their silent breath. Our lives are powered by the quiet miracle of plant breathing. Every bite and every breath connects us to the green world. Consider that.